Welcome to Arc Rambles with mildly amused Milksnake, where I overshare my thoughts and opinions on randomly chosen topics over Arc gameplay to justify spending excessive hours in game being unproductive. And today's topic is YouTubing. Of course, a YouTuber would talk about it. Even though I'm not a big YouTuber, I'm just starting, so what would I have to say about it? Why am I even doing this? And why haven't I started earlier? There's probably a lot of people in their mid-20s wishing they actually started doing this when they were 16 or something, and now they would be rich. But when I was actually 16, I barely ever thought about that as a possibility for a future career. I didn't have an idea back then that there is a bunch of free software for editing videos that anyone can do it. Also, back then I didn't even watch that much YouTube, more than occasional Let's Play. I was more of a DeviantArt dweller who wanted to draw comics. Easy to say that didn't work out though. I only started feeling the YouTuber aspirations after I got semi-decent laptop to play games I wanted to. That was about the time I went to uni. But still, initially I didn't think it was worth the effort compared to keeping up with the university. After all, YouTuber careers are like 1 in a million, right? Only less than 1% of people trying can make a living off of it, and contrary to popular belief among kids, it's not an easy job at all. And while now I know that it's more than just 1%, if you get at least like 10,000 subscribers, you can probably get some sponsorships. It still isn't easy money. You think you're gonna escape the 9 to 5 and make a living of playing your favorite games? Sounds dreamy to you? Well, prepare yourself to work about 8 hours per day still rewatching your footage, editing audio, cutting out the s and stutter out of your narrations, cutting out or speeding up uninteresting parts of the footage, or making scripts and reading them out if you're going to do more of a video essay style videos. That is, unless you're someone like Nico from Minecraft who can just yap away without sounding like his brain is slower than an office laptop trying to run Arc Ascended. It can be a satisfying job and still have benefits over 9 to 5, like being able to choose your own schedule and pace. But still, it's work, and the serious amount of it. At least in the beginning, it's not just about playing games. And likelihood is you're not Nico from Minecraft. Unless you've been doing YouTube for months already and got proficient at rambling at the mic after overcoming the narration paralysis. That being deeply ingrained fear of sounding like a maniac screaming at the screen to whomever else lives with you. You're probably gonna end up with a lot of audio to edit. I'd say for me, currently I feel like actually playing the game is about 1/8 of the time that goes into the production of a single episode. Now keep in mind I'm currently very inefficient and have to take a lot of free takes to have a reasonably sounding audio, so as I'm getting better at talking without stutter while recording the game, it'll get considerably faster, but still that will probably mean I'll just invest even more time to produce more videos to meet upload schedules of more advanced Let's Players. Only when you actually get really big you can hire editors, and as you go along narration and scripting will start to come more naturally. But beginnings sure aren't easy. Now I hear what you're saying. But ma'am, if you thought it's such a bunch of hard work that doesn't have a reasonable chance of success, why did you end up trying after all? People hesitate to even try marriage these days, and that's just 50% rate of failure. But okay, that might be a bad comparison. In marriage you have much more to lose. And I still tried it, having no regrets so far. That, and I figured out that statistics are to be ignored in matters tied to performance. You don't want to play a slot machine because the odds of winning are low, but also because there's nothing you can do to influence the outcome. Meanwhile, with YouTube, in terms of influencing your outcomes, you can do a lot. You can study the attention market and choose to make something you know people will want to watch. You can improve your thumbnails, your titles, and keywords. And in the end, you can be awfully persistent. After all, if your videos are at least palatable, shouldn't your channel eventually pick up after all the less patient people drop out of your lane? After all, you're not competing with all the people who try YouTubing. You're just competing with the vast minority who are able to stick with it after 2 weeks. And if you do stick with it, even if your initial content is mediocre at best, you can and you will improve your content over time. Really, the only thing you need is time, dedication, and basic recording equipment. You're not rolling a die to land in the 1% spot. You can potentially make yourself climb that high. And as for reasons I decided to give this career a try is I realized that I don't find editing or script writing unpleasant at all. The only big hurdle I had to deal with was the aforementioned narration paralysis. But now I got braver and I don't care if I'm yelling cringe into the screen. Overall, I feel okay spending more time on that than just gaming. It also allows me to build a stronger connection to the story of my gameplay, making the creatures I tame in Ark characters instead of just game objects. It makes me eager to play again after editing an episode, to see where the story of the game takes me. And boy, am I a story-loving kind of person. Making a story out of my playthrough actually allowed me to rediscover the joy in survival games, after a long period of trying to optimize my fun away. Optimizing that mainly came from feeling like I have to exploit the most powerful mechanics to get to the game objectives in the limited time I had when I had a day job. It just feels refreshing to know that there is more to my gameplay now than just gathering achievements. That it's something I can share with a community of other people interested in the game, and something that the community will hopefully want to see. I guess in that way it's also about being acknowledged, huh? And I don't even mean about going big, although it would be nice to be able to continue on recording videos full time. It's more like being heard at all. Playing single player when none of your actual real life friends are interested in the same games as you can be pretty isolating. With that, even one person's comment or interaction with the video gives me feeling of being acknowledged for my work, which is something I haven't experienced too often with my crude attempts at making comics as a teenager. No, for that I don't blame anyone. I had no idea how to grab a market and people's attention back then, and my comics probably weren't that good either. It is just nice to be able to share my experiences with stuff I love doing and find people who also love that thing, who want to communicate with me or see more of what I do. It's actually kinda crazy how many people I know in real life who aren't interested in the same games as I do. Somehow, despite my gaming interests not being very niche at all. So many non-gamers in my circle, despite me loving games. How does that even work? Didn't that famous lifestyle quote say that you're supposed to be the sum of 5 people you hang out with the most? Then again, I always held pride within my ability to not be influenced. So that's most of the reason I have for doing YouTube, and I'm cautiously optimistic about the channel's future. I wouldn't lie to say I don't have concerns, however. Knowing about YouTube shadow bans and ad revenue policies that are enforced automatically by algorithms makes it so channel can potentially be sabotaged by a particularly dedicated malicious actor in a way that would trigger YouTube's suspicion on the channel due to viewership patterns, etc. I don't really know how that works, but apparently, if your viewership patterns suggest that you might be purchasing views, your ad revenue might be cut, or you could be even banned from AdSense altogether. And with me publishing some of my personal opinions on random stuff in those little rambles that I do on the channel, I wonder how long it will be until I run into someone who strongly disagrees with me on something and is bored enough to try to be spiteful and malicious over it. While I try to stray from controversial topics, it's still the internet, you never know. Perhaps something commonplace right now would be controversial in 2 years. But hey, at least I don't have too strong of a tendency for vulgarities, so that's one thing I don't have to worry about algorithm knocking me down for. Though, not gonna lie, I was disappointed when I researched that for episode 3, posting thumbnail with a drawing of hand flipping of a shark would have been considered unseemly by YouTube. Such a shame. It was a good sketch. And who would even get offended? Megalodons that watch YouTube? In any way, I hope this Ramble series won't get me in trouble with YouTube overlords. As for social trouble, I don't believe unconstructive hate would really affect me, especially if it was over something stupid like an opinion or an idea that someone can't bear to calmly debate, but it would still be a bother. I'm a chill person and I prefer my interactions to be chill. In any way, so far I'm eager to continue on my YouTube journey, and fingers crossed my hopes won't be crushed by circumstances I cannot control. It is an unstable career prospect, but it doesn't cost me anything but time and work to try. And as one of my friends said, the biggest waste of time is not trying anything. It's not like there's much else I can do in my current living arrangement until I get a work permit in this country. For now, I can't even monetize this. I guess I could try a different creative career like writing or traditional art, but those aren't easy at all to market. And I believe I can increase my chances of success by a bunch just by not giving up and letting myself improve as I go. There's still, of course, element of luck associated with timing and demand fluctuations, but it's far from a slot machine. And to up the chances of hitting the lucky timing, I also intend to try new things that people might want to see, and I don't see a lot of being done already. Hopefully, I should be able to grow my channel at a steady rate. And if you wanna start doing YouTube too, just try making a video that you want to produce. Find out how the process feels like to achieve quality you will be satisfied with enough to post. And if you enjoy the process, just go and post it on a schedule you'll be capable of keeping up. And don't be disappointed if you won't go viral after first few videos. Slow starts are normal, and depending on how high effort you go, do 50, maybe even 100 videos before really assessing your progress. Don't quit your day job if you don't have other life circumstances that prompt you to do so, but stay hopeful and dedicated. And then I think there's a solid chance to go places with a channel. Of course, my belief will be verified as my own channel develops. I hope in a few years I'll look back on this video and be able to say I was right. On a side note, with the quote-unquote quality you will be satisfied with point, don't overdo it. If you do, you can get to a point where you feel like nothing you can do is worth posting. Sure, maybe reconsider posting if your video rendered so pixelated that people will struggle to see object definition and it's not meant to be pixel art. Or if your audio catches so much background noise that it sounds like all TV static. But those are just technical issues that usually turn off people before they can even give your video a chance. And you can only really fix them with better software or better mic. But don't go out of your way to create perfect script out of the bat or repeat your voice lines until you sound like a professional voice actor or commentator in your first video ever. Remember, the more you do it, your work will get smoother, But if you try to get it absolutely perfect and professional before you even start posting and getting feedback, and you have zero previous training, you'll get frustrated out of it, most likely. Also, you want to consider the scale of your first project. I know it might be a giant hurdle for some people. For example, my husband for the longest time wanted to make Minecraft Civilization videos, showcasing and summarizing the entire duration of a civilization experiment he took part of. I don't know if you're familiar with that format, but think of it as close to 100 days format in scale of editing. To watch through over 20 hours of footage and edit it together, alongside of creating a compelling narration, especially after some time passed since the recording and you don't remember details of what you were thinking, can be pretty daunting for anyone. Even the Minecraft experiment hosts usually take several months or even years to edit those videos. Starting out with one like that can easily break the motivation of someone who's a newbie to editing. And so was in that case where he could never totally commit to working on it because it was just so much footage and there's always other stuff to be done. Yeah, it wasn't really different with my initial ambitions. I was tempted to just try starting with a 100 days in hardcore type of video, but then I reconsidered. Not only I couldn't get myself to sit through hours and hours of footage at a time and editing and scripting at the same time. My brain, just as any other normal human brain, simply hates huge pieces of work that aren't split into smaller tasks. But also, I figured the kind of videos that I do decide to grow my channel on will have to reflect what I actually want to make to not end up with a bunch of subscribers that will just be disappointed when I start out with a big feature film video, but then never make one again and focus on short episodic content or just take forever making another one. I know that it will not be sustainable for me to just make 100-day videos and the like, so I decided that would be a really bad way to start. I still want to make these, but as a supplement or recap to my normal hardcore let's play that I want to create. Not just that. Plus, the experience from recording all those episodes will ensure that I'll be much more likely to actually finish the Supercat. But perhaps you in particular are an extremely motivated individual who does want to do that. Well, I'm not telling you to not do it if it is so. Just to acknowledge that it might be hard. Still, my channel is young and I don't know if I'll make it big anytime soon. But I know that without realizing those aforementioned things, I would have never ended up starting. And I want you to be able to start too, if being a YouTuber is your dream. On that note, I will conclude my ramble. If you see the value in my take, please leave a like to show appreciation, and subscribe to hear more from me. And if you have other advice for aspiring YouTubers, or think something I said was incorrect, tell me in the comments below. See you in the next one. Bye!